Mia loved visiting her grandmother's house. It was old, creaky, and filled with strange things from the past. The best part was the attic, where her grandmother kept forgotten treasure-sold dresses, dusty books, and wooden trunks filled with secrets. One rainy afternoon, while her grandmother was making cookies, Mia climbed up to the attic. Thunder rumbled outside, shaking the walls, but she didn't mind. She loved storms. As she rummaged through a box of old toys, her fingers brushed against something soft. She pulled it out. It was a doll. The doll had curly golden hair, bright blue eyes that seemed too real, and a delicate dress made of lace. Despite being old, it looked brand new. Mia shivered. There was something strange about the doll's eyes. They didn't have the dull, lifeless stare of other toys. They gleamed. Excited, she ran downstairs. "Grandma, whose doll is this?" she asked, holding it up. Her grandmother turned and gasped, her face suddenly pale. "Where did you find that?" "In the attic," Mia said. Her grandmother wiped her hands on a towel and took the doll gently. "This belonged to your great-aunt Eleanor. She disappeared when she was a little girl." Mia's eyes widened. "Disappeared? What happened?" Her grandmother hesitated. "No one knows. One day she was playing in her room with this doll, and the next morning she was gone. The doors were locked, the windows shut. She was just gone." Mia shuddered. "And they never found her?" Her grandmother shook her head. "After she vanished, the doll was found sitting in the window, staring outside." Mia swallowed hard. She looked at the doll again. Its blue eyes seemed to sparkle. That night, Mia placed the doll on the chair beside her bed. She didn't know why, but she felt like it should face the wall, just in case. The wind howled outside. The rain pounded against the window. Mia pulled the blankets over her head. Then creak, a soft sound, like a footstep on the wooden floor. Mia peeked out. The doll was still on the chair, but its head had turned. Now it was staring at her. She gasped and sat up, her heart racing. She had faced it toward the wall, hadn't she? She swallowed her fear and got out of bed, carefully turning the doll away again. "Stay like that," she whispered. She climbed back under the covers and shut her eyes tight. Creak. Her breath caught in her throat. Slowly, she turned her head toward the chair. The doll was on the floor. Mia's scream stuck in her throat. The doll hadn't fallen. It was sitting up, like it had moved. She leapt out of bed and ran to the door. But just as she reached for the handle, tap, 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 she froze. The sound came from the window. Slowly, she turned her head. The doll was sitting on the windowsill. Mia couldn't breathe. She had left it on the chair. Then it was on the floor. Now it was at the window. Then the doll smiled. Mia let out a scream. Her grandmother burst into the room. "What is it?" Mia pointed, trembling. "The doll. It moved. It was on the chair. Then the floor. Then the window." Her grandmother's face paled. She marched to the window and snatched up the doll. Without a word, she hurried out of the room. Mia followed, her heart still pounding. She watched as her grandmother carried the doll outside, into the storm. Her grandmother dug a hole beneath the old oak tree in the backyard. She placed the doll inside, whispering something under her breath, and covered it with dirt. Mia stood beside her, shivering in the rain. "Grandma, what was that thing?" Her grandmother took a deep breath. "I should have gotten rid of it a long time ago." Mia swallowed. "But what if it comes back?" Her grandmother put a hand on her shoulder. "Then we'll know it was never just a doll." The next morning, Mia peered out the window at the old oak tree. The ground looked undisturbed. Maybe it was over. Maybe it was just her imagination. But then, she saw something in the window of the attic. A pair of bright blue eyes, watching, smiling.